We are just a few days away from Vanguard at this point, and I'm going to be honest with you guys, I have not been this excited for a Call of Duty game in a very long time. If I'm being honest with you guys, I have not actually been excited for a Call of Duty game since Black Ops 2. That's right, even Modern Warfare, the game that I turned out that I really actually liked, I was not excited for it first because I played the beta on PlayStation 4 and the game was running at low frames on my day one PlayStation 4 edition and some other things. So, yeah, I ended up really liking Modern Warfare once I ended up getting the game on PC and tried the PC beta, but even then I wasn't hyped, but there was just something about Modern Warfare that once it released and going for Damascus and then afterwards, after getting Damascus, I really just fell in love with the gunplay, the movement, and just how the game was. And Vanguard feels like a more balanced version of Modern Warfare, and it feels like a World War II version of Modern Warfare. And for me, World War II is my favorite time period in Call of Duty and any FPS game for that matter, just because I grew up on World War II shooters. So, yeah, but anyways, what's going on, guys? It's Greg here today, and I'm bringing you a Vanguard gameplay. This is a 91 kill, 15 deaths, something like that. Normally, I try to upload some really high scores, low death count, all that kind of stuff. I kind of handpick my gameplays, sift through all the kinds of matches I get. But in the beta, I didn't really have that much time, especially because the beta is always the sweatiest the game's going to be besides launch, just because, the skill-based matchmaking is pretty much cranked up. People aren't in the playlists, as they get funneled through the playlists of what kind of playlists people are going to be playing. So the game usually ends up being quite sweaty in the beta as well as the full release for the first couple weeks usually. But in this gameplay, I think I was switching up my guns just depending on the vibe of the lobby I was in, and I was trying out some different attachment combos on certain weapons and stuff like that. So hopefully you guys will enjoy this gameplay. And but yeah, I really just want to take the time to talk about some things on Vanguard, what I learned from the beta and some things that maybe you guys can be ready for within the full release. So how about we go ahead and get into some of the things I have noticed about this game and just what you guys can be watching out for day one. So some of the first tips I want to provide you guys is about your class selection. I know a lot of people might think this is going to be straightforward, but I really want to talk about this more than ever because this is one of the first years where we actually have most of the resistance and stealth perks all in the same category. This has not been something that we've really ever seen before in Call of Duty. Besides, I want to say maybe Black Ops 1, they kind of put all the really powerful perks in the same tier, but with Modern Warfare, we were able to run Cold-Blooded, Ghost, and Tracker all on the same class, and those are the best stealth perks in the game. And I know what you're thinking right now. How is Tracker a stealth perk? Well, it works the same way here in Vanguard, where it actually hides the death icons of people you kill. So all those death icons of your teammates dying around the map, they don't show up, and that means the enemies are not going to be able to know where you just killed somebody at unless they've saw you kill that guy or they hear your gunfire or whatever. It's really, really powerful for stealth. Do not underestimate the perk if you have not used it in Modern Warfare already. Now, in this game, like I said, it's going to be the same. Tracker is in a perk 2 category, but I don't really count it too much as a stealth perk, simply because there's other ways to hide those skulls, such as the subsonic rounds, which is a type of ammunition that you can put in your gun, and it will do that effect. Now, in this game, Cold-Blooded, Ninja, aka Dead Silence, Flak Jacket, Ghost, and Tactical Mask are all going to be in the same perk category. We do not know the 6th perk that is in the perk 1 slot as of right now that I'm making this video, but those 5 perks are all in the same perk tier. And you might be thinking, that is dumb, right? Because I want to run Flak Jacket, I want to run Ninja, I want to run Tac Mask, I want to run all these perks, right? Well, in my opinion, this is a good thing, because, hear me out. 1, stealth is so powerful in Call of Duty, right? Think about it. Cold-Blooded in Modern Warfare, you can run that, you can run Ghost. You're completely immune to every single kill streak that is not player controlled, and they somehow know it's you, like based off of what they see on the map where the teammates are, where the enemies are, and they can take a guess that it's you, but sometimes, people don't want to risk wasting a cruise missile or AC-130 shots or whatever whenever they could be going for the multi-kills that are all around the map, right? And same thing, for someone in a Juggernaut, they're going to know it's you just because, well, they are the kill streak. The only streak that really had a counter towards those perks was the advanced UAV, because it would still show you as a red dot, right, on the minimap. So having Cold-Blooded and Ghost just made you invisible on the map pretty much, because people were earning their kill streaks. Kill streaks set the flow of the match. That's why I love them so much. That's why I love running them, is because they can turn the tides of the battle, right? So you pretty much have yourself completely immune to the whole selling point of Call of Duty, am I right? The kill streaks. So in this game, you're going to have to choose between staying off a spy plane. You're going to have to choose having resistance to stun grenades or flashbangs or whatever there might be. You're going to choose resistance between grenades. You're going to choose resistance between footsteps. All these things in the same perk category mean that you can't be resistant to everything in the game, which I think is good, because in past CODs, there has been zero counterplay other than to straight up kill somebody, which, I mean, if they're in a better spot, 9 out of 10 times they're probably going to win, am I right? Especially if they know that you're coming. So, there was no counterplay. And I think this is the best trade-off we've ever seen, because in this game, if you want to be hidden to everything, right? You want to have all that resistance, you got to run Specialist, which I'm going to recommend to you guys for all of you that need those perks, right? Like, you need Cold-Blooded. You can't go without Cold-Blooded, Flak Jacket, Dead Silence, whatever it is. Run Specialist, right? To me, being able to be resistant to all that stuff in the game, you can still be effective, right? You can still get that 25 kill streak V2 rocket that ends the game, and you're going to have 18 perks, a ton of weapon proficiencies if they make it that way, and you're going to be pretty much a god soldier on the map. So I personally think that Specialist this year is going to be amazing, but the kill streaks are also going to be really good this year. Because why? Well, all those resistance perks that hide you from kill streaks are all in the same tier. So it's like a trade-off. If you want to earn kill streaks, you're vulnerable. If you don't want to earn kill streaks and you just want to be a super soldier, you won't be vulnerable. I think this is some of the best perk balance we've ever seen in the history of this franchise. That's just my opinion. I know a lot of people are probably going to disagree with me because, a lot of people have different opinions on things. But to me, I want a balanced game that has a balance between all the resistance and the fundamentals of the game, right? So for your class setups, you're going to have to choose that. And I think this should really depend on your playstyle. If you are a rusher, you should definitely be running Ninja or Ghost, without a doubt. If you're more defensive, you should be running either Flak Jacket or Tactical Mask. Maybe Cold-Blooded. But if you are a rusher, you're definitely going to be wanting to use Dead Silence or Ninja, whatever it's called, and Ghost. The Perk 2s are going to be really interesting this year. So we have Radar, okay? Radar is like a classic minimap. Now, from the perks I saw in the beta, here's my take on this, right? I personally don't need red dots on the minimap. I'm very aware of sounds that are going on around me. I have people calling out to me. Overall, I understand the flow of the match. I know where my enemies are typically going to be based off spawn logic and the routes that people take once I learn the game. Maybe I'll run Radar in the beginning of the game to learn all the flow, but as soon as I learn the flow, I'm taking off Radar. I don't think it's that useful of a perk for my knowledge of the game and how I understand how things go, right? So for me, and if you're like me, forward intel, if they buff forward intel from the beta, it wasn't anything crazy in the beta, but it could be something that is super, super good, right? Because think about this. There's going to be an advanced UAV in this game. The advanced UAV is so strong because it shows you where everyone is on the minimap. Now, there's a lot of times on the minimap where you just can't see where those arrows of the enemies or where the dots are because they're just out of view. But what if they're right in front of you on a cover, but you have to blind push a corner just for your minimap to show that? Forward intel, on the other hand, is going to show you where they're at because it's going to be a bigger area on your minimap and it's going to zoom it out. That is a very powerful perk. Another really powerful perk, again, is Tracker. If you don't want to run the subsonic rounds, frangible rounds were extremely powerful in the beta. If you don't know what made frangible rounds so powerful, is it increased the amount of flinch the enemies are going to take. That is huge, especially whenever you are playing against snipers and LMGs or people sitting on cover. If you ego chow with frangible and you start hitting shots and you hit straight beams, their flinch is hitting the ceiling, right? Like, they are flinching like crazy. On top of that, frangible has other effects. Frangible is going to slow people down that are super sprinting or tac sprinting, as we call it. It's also going to have a crippling effect where it kind of flashes them a little bit. So frangible is extremely powerful, and there are also other ammo types that are really powerful too. You have incendiary. There's all of these different types of ammo that you can run. I think there's like 10 different kind. We weren't able to see all of them in a beta, but I can promise you that you might not want to run subsonic because the suppressor is still going to have that effect where it keeps you off the radar whenever people are running the radar perk. So this leads me to my next point. And by the way, for all of you that are dependable on radar, and you're going to be dependable on it this year, I'm going to make map guides, and I plan on making spawn guides and all that kind of stuff too, on understanding spawns and map flow and all that kind of stuff for this game. I'm going to do it like I did with Modern Warfare. Yes, the ground war guides that you guys remember I did on the channel will be back in the form of the 16 launch maps. I'm going to try to break it down to maybe one a week. I know that there's going to be DLC maps and stuff I'm going to have to cover too, but you guys got to remember, I only have so much time, and I'm also trying to learn the game enough to explain it too, so production time should be 1 week. I'll try to have a map figured out for you guys. It will probably come about a month after, but I'm hoping to get it by Christmas, because by then I should learn about it. So subscribe if you're not already, is what I'm trying to say, because I'm going to be breaking that down so you guys don't have to rely on radar, and you can understand the map flow, and yeah, you can open up a perk slot for yourselves. But anyways, back to what I was saying. So Tracker, right? If you don't want to run Tracker to hide those death icons, you know, there is subsonic. But if you don't want to run subsonic, then maybe Tracker is another option you want. Because then that way you can hide those death icons, and solo players are usually not calling out. So that's really powerful, because now you're pretty much stealthy on the map. You run that with something like Ghost or Ninja, it's going to help you rush. On top of that, we know High Alert's in the game as well. High Alert is one of those perks that I never really felt was super useful in multiplayer. It's better in Ground War and Modern Warfare with Specialists. You don't want to give up Ghost in Ground War just because UAV spam. You guys know how it was. But in Vanguard, it might be worth it put on High Alert because it's not in the same slot as Ghost. So if somebody's looking at you from an off angle that you don't notice, that's going to light up. You'll know where enemies are, right? There's also another perk that was rumored to be in a perk too that will show damaged enemies or something. By the way, what was that munitions box going through the floor? But there's another perk that's supposed to like show enemies through walls if they're damaged by maybe bullets or explosives, something like that. I don't remember exactly how it works. I think it's called like piercing vision or something. I don't know if it's going to make it in the final build. It was not visible in the beta. What to see on that, so I'm not going to speculate too much there. We don't know the other perk 2, so I can't speak much on that. The perk 3s, on the other hand, they're more about... So the first perks are about resistance. The second perks are more about intelligence. And then the third perks are more about arsenal, right? So the third perks are going to be like shrapnel or demolition, whatever it's called. It's going to give you another grenade on spawn, and I believe like delay enemy health regeneration, that kind of stuff. There's also Tactician, which is only going to resupply your tacticals. It does not resupply lethals. You have to run the munitions box to resupply those lethals in this game. However, I'm going to come back to this perk in a minute because there's something very strong about this perk, at least if they haven't changed it from the beta, that you guys might not have noticed. There's double time, which is going to let you tac sprint longer, and this is actually a year that double time might be good in multiplayer, for 6v6 and 10v10 and all that kind of stuff, you know, on these maps. Because to me, it was really only good in Ground War, right? But in this game, double time, you can't refresh your tac sprint by slide canceling, at least in the beta build, and it's probably going to stay that way for the full release. So the only way to refresh your tac sprint is to let it recharge, right? So double time might be really good, especially if you're trying to rush, you're trying to be aggressive. I think double time is going to be a really good perk this year. Then there's Overkill. 2 primaries with 10 attachments. Tell me that's not really strong, right? But there is something about those perks, and I can't remember if there was one more perk I haven't mentioned or whatnot, but I honestly don't remember. But there was one perk that really stood out to me this entire time, and that's Tactician. I don't think stim shots are really that good in this game, and plus, there's going to be a weapon perk that is pretty much like Quick Fix from Modern Warfare. So I think stim shots are going to be bye-bye for me, at least this year, right? Because most of the time, I only use it to recharge health after a gunfight. I'm not really using it mid-gunfight, where I'll take cover, stim real quick, and reach out, right? Usually by then, I know I lost the gunfight, whatever, right? I'll just respawn. But what you guys might have not noticed is that Tactician resupplies S-mines. That's right, S-mines were a tactical in the beta. And if you don't know what an S-mine is, it's like a Claymore, Bouncing Betty, Prox mine, whatever you want to call it. You guys understand what I'm saying here, right? So, you give up stim shot, you give up concussions, you give up flashbangs, gas, whatever. You got unlimited Bouncing Betties that are going to recharge every 25 seconds at your disposal. 1 every 25 seconds you can place down on the map. You can have a maximum of 2 up at the same time, I believe. So that is really powerful because you can put these on flanks and just walk away from it. Now you have a free kill on the map pretty much because who knows if they're going to be running Flak Jacket, right? They got Ninja, they got Cold-Blooded, they got Ghost, they got Tactical Mask they got to compete with. Fell off the map, oops. So yeah, there are a lot of really strong options here this year. I think Tactician is going to go down as one of the most broken perk 3s in the game because of that reason. Because you got to think about it. Free kill every 25 seconds that is going to count towards your V2 rocket or whatever kill streaks you're running. And if you run that with Specialist, just think how strong that is. Because you could still have Overkill. You're going to have all the perks in the game. I don't know, guys. I think this year we're in for a treat with actually having different metas we can run with perks. And I'm super excited about that because I feel one of the things that Call of Duty has really been lacking is variety. In Modern Warfare, there was like one perk in each category that I was going to put on every class. I wasn't going to switch my perks, right? I felt that the rest were just useless compared to how strong the other perks are that were available, right? And then you have Cold War, where you have Perk Greed. And there's 2 clear perks in each category that are like, wow, these are so much better than every other perk. But this year, I feel like the way they balanced it and they put all the intel perks in a category, they put all the arsenal perks in one category, they put all the resistance perks in one category. There's going to be so many combinations we're going to have to really think about and see how the matches are flowing and how we're going to build our classes to adapt. And that's why I wanted to start getting you guys thinking about this before the game comes out. So that way, you can already be ahead of the game, and you can start really thinking about what kind of perks you're going to put in your loadout and what kind of resistance you really need. Base it off the way you start playing for the first couple days, and by then, you should have an idea of what you really want to run. I suggest having classes with a lot of different stuff. So anyways, I'll see you guys all in the next video. Have a great day.